Hello all my 6 viewers, and welcome back to another part of Blitz Basic Tutorials. In this part I hope to go over scoring, high score, a health bar, and how to change the font. And the first thing I want to jump into is how to change the font. In a comment, let me show you what it takes to kind of change the font and what it all means. The first thing you want to decide is the name of the font. It could be any name, it doesn't matter. It won't affect the font at all. And then make it equal to this command, load font. It's basically like loading an image. It's got basically the same idea. Okay, then set up the parentheses. Then in quotations, you want to type in the actual name of font. And this has to be the exact name. You can't have an extra space. It has to be the exact name inside those quotations. After the quotations, anything else after is kind of optional. You don't have to put anything else in. It won't give you an error. But it'll set it up by the default. So the first thing you want to decide is the height of the font. If you choose to leave that blank, it'll go by default 12, which is the same default in a Word, I believe. Actually, I think it's 11 now, but back then it used to be 12 all the time. Next thing is decide if you want it bold or not, italics, or if you want it underlined. And that's basically what everything means with this command. Alright, so here's me actually gonna change the font. First you want to type in the name. I'm gonna call it font, load font command, and then in quotations. I already have mine selected, so here it is. And I might not keep it, but this is just the font I'm gonna use for right now. I think 22 actually is good for me. For each font, since each font is a little different, the size always varies, so you might want to like test around with different sizes depending on the font you use. You can always use your favorite. Now, here's one thing when it comes to the bold, italics, and underline. I can't remember if I want it bold. Just for now, let's choose bold. But if you do want it italicized, but you don't want it bold, you still have to type in the bold. So you'd have to put 0 or false if that's easier for you, and then type in true. And if you wanted underlined, then you have to type in true or false. If you don't want to underline, you don't have to worry about it. But if you only want to underline, then you have to type in these other two. Because if you just leave it true, it's going to think, if I just leave it true like that, it's going to just think that I just want it bold. So basically, if it's more to the right, you have to fill in all the other ones if it's true or false. 0 or 1. So there you go. Now in order to set the font, because this only loads the font, it actually doesn't set it. So you can actually load a number of different fonts and set it at different times or have different sizes. It's a great way to decorate the homepage. Is you want to type in set font and then the name of the font you chose, so font. So now, since I haven't uploaded any other fonts or set any other fonts, all my fonts are actually going to go by this right here. So if I run it real fast, you'll see the font already changed. And I think that's pretty good for right now. I might change it, but there we go. The game's probably going to run a little slower since I have the on-screen recording. But I was playing it a little earlier to check if there's anything I like or don't like. And it actually runs really quickly, really quickly and really smooth. Maybe a little bit too quick, so I might slow things down on the player. Maybe change the speed up on the asteroids or meteors or whatever you feel like calling these things. But that's until later. For right now, I kind of want to just present the material. So there you go. Alright, okay. Before I forget, in order to decide the name or find out the name you want to go into some type of word processor. It's Word or WordPad or whatever you want. Microsoft Word. I'm going to use WordPad real fast. And right here it actually tells you all the names that you can use. And that's the name you want to copy, is this one right here. That's how elephant looks like. Hello. Pretty interesting. So, you know, always one to use. And there's bold. You can always test around with it. You see if you like it in bold. Wow, not much of a difference. Italicized, underlined. Fool around with it. In order to change the color, use command color. But you want to do that before you set any text. So if I want to change this to gold, I'd put color. And then the color codes. The color codes you can always find out. If you don't want to go into paint, you want to go straight into here. More colors. And here are the color codes, red, green, and blue. So if I choose a color, There it is, and that's the number you want to put in, 00255. So color, if I want it gold, I'll type in that. I just remember because I use that color all the time. But I want to keep my color white, since this is kind of a little simple retro game, and I like the way the color looks already. Just white. Alright, so that's what you want to do. If you want to download your own or make up your own, you can do so, but you're going to have to install it into your computer. And if you want it to work on other people's computers, you would have to have them install it too. Or if you create an installer, have the installer install the actual font into the font folder, which is just type in font to your search bar, and there it is, fonts. Shows you all your fonts right here. There they are. When you open them up, right here, actually no, right here, there's an install button if you haven't installed it. So there's a couple custom fonts I chose that I have right inside. So and I use those every once in a while too. So in order to find some, you just go onto the internet, go onto a font or text website, any will do, and just download a custom one and choose your favorite. There's a whole bunch that people make, or you can make your own. I'm not sure after I got rid of all my files if this has it, but when before I lost all my files, I had that actually came with my laptop, a font creator where you can create your own font and save it into your computer. But alright, moving on. Let's do the health bar real fast. Let's see. Here's the title page. That's what I'm looking at right now. Right, in order to create a health bar, you want to do something like this. I'm going to use the rectangle command. I'm not sure if I went over this before. It's called rect, like that. And the way rect does, if you want a rectangle to appear, you basically do the first X, which I'm just going to kind of just guess around or whatever. Let's see, I kind of want it at the bottom left hand side of the screen, so let me think, what would that be? I'll probably move it over 50 over to the right and 600 pixels down. And the next one we want to choose is how long we want it. So for right now, let's just have it 50 pixels long by 12 pixels going from the top of the screen to the bottom. So it's going to be 50 pixels long, 12 pixels wide, and that will keep it open. So let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little higher. Maybe 550 would be good. And let me type right here what this is. This is a rectangle command, so you want to type in rect, the first X position, first Y position, and they will connect at the second X position and the second Y position. And this is if you want it an open box or open rectangle, or a closed or filled in, should I say. So if you have this one, it'll be filled in. So let me show you what that looks like real fast. There, filled in. Okay. Alright. So I want that open for right now, just for the moment. Maybe a little longer actually. 100 sounds pretty dang good to me. One thing we need to create is a variable called max HP, and I believe we need it in your types too for the enemies. So yeah, I actually will for enemy health bars. So max HP, and I believe we unbelievably do need to call them floats. Yes, we do. So we're going to be dividing. So create your HP, player HP right here, a float, and this is actually what I like to do. Max HP global. Have a wire in my way. There we go. HP, make it float, equals max HP. There you go. That way the game starts off with the player having the same HP as the maximum. You can make it 10. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. It's up to you, whatever HP wants to be. And let's go back to our health bar right here. now that we have that all set, this is how you do it. This right here, I'm gonna keep on the top. So just leave this like that. This is gonna be actual health bar itself. So you want to type in. This is gonna be a little tougher, but rectangle, starting positions, and this one is gonna be. I'm trying to think of how I should do this. Oh, okay. Max. No, I'm sorry. HP divided by max HP. So if that's full, if HP equals max HP, this should equal 1. Multiply it by this number right here, how long it's going to be. And so it's going to be 100 pixels long. So if it's 1, it's going to multiply that by 100. It's going to be fill up the entire border of the bar. This is going to be 12 long, because you kind of want it the same here. You don't want it only a piece of it filling up the entire border. And this one's going to be filled in, so we want to put a 1 or type in true. I'm going to change the color of this to 255, which is red. And this one, I'm going to keep it white. Oops, nope. The white is 255, 255, 255. And that should give us a full health bar, and it's that easy. So if we get hit, it should just go down a little there. Yep. And if you're confused on how that works, let me give you just a quick explanation. And you know what? I kind of do like this font. That's cool. Meters go over the font. That wasn't intentional, but I like it. The reason why that works is, like I said, if HP equals max HP, it's 0. But since we made them floats, it's going to multiply a decimal if this is less than max HP. If you divide it, it's going to make a decimal, and it's going to multiply it by 100. So if there's only 75% left, it's going to be only 75 pixels long. Now you can always tweak with these numbers as long as they're the same. You can make this 110 and that 110. It'll always be the same. Always be the same fractions. It'll always work the way you want them to. Now, you don't have to go this way if you don't want it all. You can create a health bar that actually expands as you get more health. So if you want later in the game, if you want your player to get more health or get a lot more, and you want the player to notice that he's gaining more health to his max HP, you can always allow the max HP to extend beyond its length, its original length. So in order to do that, you just basically just get rid of this, and you just say HP divided by HP, and then right here you just do max HP. Now that I think about it, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, not really. It's a little tougher actually, but you want to put HP, multiply it by any number, and then max HP, multiply it by any number. And as max HP goes up, you should see the health bar go up as well. But in this case, and I hope that made sense here, let me just show you real quick. Since HP still does equal max HP, you do something like that. And as the max HP will go up, the health bar border will get longer. And if you want the HP to get longer with it, as you level up or bring your health up, then you would do that addition to the HP as well. I'm not sure if that's kind of confusing, but just trust me on this one. If you add, let's just say max HP equals like 15, you'll see there it is. It's pretty long because it's multiplying by 100, so it's actually becoming 10,000. So we might want to shorten that just a little bit. This is only a demonstration. You don't have to follow along with this. There. See, there's the max HP border, and there's the HP. If there's more max HP. But I hope that basically kind of got you to understand what I want you to understand. If not, just please tell me this whole little demonstration was confusing. But anyway, there we go. That's how you do an awesome health bar. And trust me, you see it working, so you know it's going to work for you too. So there. Once it goes down to 0, oh, we're dead. Alright. I can't wait to get into particles, but that's for later on, and that's a tougher concept. But it'd just be nice to see some particles flying. Okay, what's another thing I said I'd go over? Health. I mean, not health. We just went over that. Scoring. So let's create a score. Let's create the score variable real fast. And I'm probably, yes, unfortunately I'm not going to go over high scores in this video, but I promise in the next video I will. Because if you go over high score, there's no point of having a high score unless you save it. And saving is a whole nother thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on this video. So here we go. Score. And it all depends on how you want to score it. It's actually all up to you. This part I'm only going to show demonstrations, but you might want to score your players and stuff a little differently depending on what they destroy and what they kill. Now let's put in a little like label so the player knows what his score is instead of hiding it from him. Right now the game is functional, but it kind of has no purpose unless we have a high score. So until next video, there'll be a high score that you can have people beat. And then guess what? By next video, you should be able to have a full game that you can have people play and compete up against each other. It might be a simple game, and it might be more complex and a little bit more ahead of where I'm at, but still, you'll have all the knowledge you need in order to make a full, functional, competing competition game. So that'd be pretty awesome. And not only that, with my knowledge, if you really think outside the box, you can have 2 players cooperatively playing up against each other, or you can have 2 players playing one after another. So still a lot of cool stuff that you can do. If you just really got to think outside the box, though, don't always be stuck with just my tutorials. You can go above and beyond because you have the knowledge. It's there. Alright, so moving on. We want to go into our enemies real fast. There we go. And you know what? Now that I think of it, let's quickly create an enemy score so each enemy has a unique score that they give you. Now there's different ways to do it. The way I like to score my players is if they at least hit something, an enemy, and if it doesn't kill them right away, they at least get a point. So let's go to my collisions, and let's see. Let's go label all this since there's no comments at all. This is if peanut butter, which I'm guessing is yeah, definitely. This is the bullet. So if just making sure bullet hits an enemy, and then this one is if the player hits an enemy. So the great thing about setting all the enemies up in a single type and having similar fields is you only need to create one whole collision instead of having different collisions for each enemy. So really, we saved a lot of time and a lot of effort because each enemy is just all based off the same functions. You don't have to create separate functions. And I used to program like that. I used to create separate types for each enemy, and oh my gosh, it made my code humongous. Because the code is already on its own going to become huge, but this really saves a lot of time and space. Okay, so anyways, before you want to exit and before we delete anything, no, actually, it really doesn't matter. Come to think of it, it can come after or before. Score plus equals score plus 1. So I always like to score my players just for hitting something. It's always nice to have. Right here, we want to type in the score they're going to give you. So this is Tiny. So if we're destroying Tiny, let's just give him 1 because you're going to get a point for at least hitting him. You're going to get a point for killing him. For this one, I believe I gave 3 points. So 3. So it's a total of 4 points. You know, it sounds good. That should be fine. Okay. Another way to do it, if you don't want them to always score, if you want them to only have this score once the rock is destroyed, you can always say this. Have this after, actually. Cut that. Paste it here. If em/hp is greater than 0, you can always do that, and then an end if at the bottom. And you want to add, whoop, not there, sorry. Right here is where you would want it. and diff after. But I'm just gonna keep it like that. I don't mind giving a whole bunch of points. A little simple game. Yeah, that should be fine. I might change it to 2 later. I have to really think about it. Always have these second thoughts. Okay, so cool. Alright, got that. Okay, so now if the enemy actually dies, which is man, I really need to label these. Destroyed / killed, whatever it's gonna be. Right here we want to see. Here's a good thing. If it goes off screen, you're not gonna get points for that, so that's good. So here we want to put score equals score plus the enemy score that gives you. Then it's gonna delete the enemy, and there you go. And there's a quick video on just scoring and how to make a health bar. Hopefully in the next video, I'll actually show you how to make a health bar for the enemies that'll show up in the corner of the screen. But there you go. There you have it. Another thing we do need to go over is having indicators show a number appear when you hit things, so you know when you hit it, and a number to appear when you get hit, so you know you've just lost a health point of health or whatever they're going to hurt you by. But you know, this may have not been a lot, but you could still work a lot off of it. I really wanted to make this kind of a quick video, mainly because unfortunately, because I don't get a whole lot of viewers, but also because dinner is ready. So I'll see you guys later. One quick thing I forgot to mention before I actually cap up this tutorial is you might want to get rid of this right here, since we have the HP already showing. It's showing a decimal for the HP. We don't want that. And for right now, let's go and comment out the level, since we don't really want that. We don't need this either. So basically, get rid of everything except for score. Keep that up. But we're gonna work on this all later. Trust me, we will. And what actual level you're at, I'm gonna kind of do some modifications. That way, it's more like my original retro space game. But alright, guys, see you later.